Hey, what's going on, y'all? Back with the Heat for the Streets, man. It's like here, Showtime. Look, uh, kind of personal for me, but in the rest of Cowboy Nation or whatever, um, a long time Dallas Cowboy quarterback Tony Romo officially retired today. Um, and that was a shock to me. I found that out this morning while I was in a phone store getting my contacts and everything switched. Um, switched to a new phone this morning, and the guy, I guess he seen my gray sweatshirt. It's a Dallas Cowboys sweatshirt. It's gray and it has blue letters. Dallas Cowboys and big capital letters um, as the font, big bold letters or whatever. And he said, "Hey, you're a Cowboy fan, right?" I was like, "Yeah." You must have seen the sweatshirt. He said, "Yeah." He's like, Romo retired today. I was like, "What?" He was like, "Yeah, he announced it today, and they broke the story on ESPN." You know, um, and I was like, "Wow!" I had no idea. I mean, and I was talking to the guy. I said, while he's working on getting my stuff updated. He was like, I asked him. I was like, "Yo, did he do a press conference?" He was like, "I don't know. I just know that they." And eventually, I seen like um people talking about the press conference or whatever. It was like he was real emotional. Kind of reminded him of that speech when he gave up the job last year to Dak, and he made that heartfelt speech. He basically like, "Look, Dak Prescott is the future of this team. One day I'm going, I'm not going to. I'll do whatever I can right now to help the team win, and right now to sit behind Dak." And at that moment, I knew I was like, that dude might be done. I didn't know he was done playing football, but I knew he was done in Dallas. I mean, and now it's actually both. He done in Dallas. He done with football. Period. I, I kind of figured like, Denver wasn't a possibility because if you really think about it, John Elway basically got two guys that's rookies, or second year guys if you technically want to count Trevor Simeon as a second year guy. Because technically he didn't play um, his real rookie season. When he got drafted. You know, Um, so last year was pretty much his rookie season. Paxton Lynch spent a first round pick on him. Would they pick like what in the mid 20s? Last year to get Paxton Lynch or something like that. And he was the first quarterback I think that was taken off the board. So you gotta um you gotta think the Elway got something planned for that dude. You know what I'm saying? 6'7" mobile type dude. With a strong arm. I don't know if his arm is strong as a lot of the other quarterbacks that came out um, this year, including Dak. And I'm not even saying that because Dak my quarterback. Because it was Jerry Jones actually wanted Paxton Lynch, and when Denver took him, obviously Dak was the backup plan. He wanted Connor Cook. Raiders took him, and then eventually he picked Dak. And we had a bunch of success. Um, and that's not to say Connor Cook can't be a success, but not in Oakland, not as long as Derek Carr's a starter. And then you got a veteran backup in Matt McGloin, um, who has seen game action. And Connor Cook looked terrible in that damn playoff game. I mean, but it wasn't by design that way. It was, next man up, and McGloin got hurt a little bit. I think in the season finale when Derek Carr got hurt against Tennessee, and the Connor Cook was just the man out. He had to start against Houston, and that defense is as good as anybody's, man. I put my money on Houston defense any week, man. It's just their offense that I'm scared of. They can't score enough points. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was that, and it was Paxton Lynch, and of course it was Dak. Which brings me back to my point. I'm sorry, I got off the topic or whatever, but it brings me back to my point that, and I actually watched Dak playing college. I watched a little bit of Connor Cook. I didn't watch really any of Paxton Lynch last year. But I seen Dak in college when he was at Mississippi State, and I knew that him and Zeke together, along with that line of Dez and Jason Witten, who I think might be retiring after. I don't care if he did sign a 3 4 year extension. I think that man probably gonna retire sooner or later. I think his body. I just don't think his legs fresh. And it might not even be a physical thing. It might just be a mental thing. Like just like Romo, they came in the same year. Just like Romo, spend a decade of your life, over a decade of your life with one franchise, played with one franchise, been to playoff games, never even been to an NFC Championship game, never been to a Super Bowl, not even to know what that feeling is like, even win or lose. It get tiring after a while. Like it get tiring after a while, and that's why I feel like DeMarcus Ware retired because he was a free agent, and he said he didn't give specifics, he didn't give names of the teams that he said were interested in him before he made his decision to retire. But I have a feeling it was only two teams. It was us, it was the Cowboys, and it might have been the Rams because he got a relationship with Wade Phillips, who was the new defensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Rams. So I have a feeling that might have been the only two teams that were interested. Maybe the money wasn't right. Maybe the years was off. Bonus money. It could have been anything. But I think a lot of what it is just mental. It's mental. Like, and in the case of DeMarcus Ware, he obviously has his Super Bowl. He won it against Carolina. Him and Von Miller. So he knows what that feeling is like to actually get there and win it. So he got a double whammy. But for a guy like Romo and a guy like Witten, who like I said, uh, might be retiring in the next couple of years, um, regardless of the extension, it get tiring after a while. It get mentally and physically draining as the years go on, and you get to the playoffs and you lose the way you did against Green Bay, and then you lose against the way you did against the Giants in '07, lose the way you did to the Seattle Seahawks in 2006, lose the way you did to Green Bay in 2000. What was that? 14. It just get old, and it get tiring, and it's like the same old story, especially with Romo, with all those playoff losses I just named. That's gonna be a big part of how people view him in his career, and the lack of playoff success. Maybe he don't have the numbers in the regular season to constitute him being in the Hall of Fame. And people's like, and I seen one guy in the comment section for a video. He was like, "Do you people think? Do y'all think Tony Romo's a Hall of Famer?" And they was like, "Hell no, no, he ain't a Hall of Fame. Da 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 da. He ain't win nothing." I'm like, neither damn Marino. But the only thing is about Romo, he might not have like the big, sexy numbers in the playoffs. Like he might not have the regular season numbers, all that, all that stuff. But eventually he'll get in because a process of elimination. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be better guys that came along that's gonna be able to go in on their first ballot, and he might have to wait his second or third year, fourth year, maybe. You know what I'm saying? This process of elimination, they gonna have to put this dude in. They gonna have to put this dude in. And when that dude became the star in 2006, I legitimately thought like one day he'd break through. And I thought that last year was probably, had he stayed, if he didn't retire this year, if he didn't retire today, I think that come back next year, he sit on the bench. Maybe, God forbid, if Dak gets hurt, he can come in, lead them to a playoff run, and possibly get there. Possibly get there. Possibly get there. And, if he had a chance to start a Super Bowl or even as a backup, if he just won one, that would have silenced all his critics. It would silence all his critics. That would have been like, oh, he can't win the big one. Well, he has the big one. But we'll never know now. He's done. And we'll never know now. We'll never know now. And I think a lot of that, like I said, was mental. I think Jerry Jones moved on. I think Stephen Jones moved on. I think Jason Garrett moved on. I think he moved on. He checked out mentally because all the dilly dallying that they was doing, trying to get him a trade and trying to get him a release, but then they didn't release him, and he wanted to go to Denver. Denver wasn't interested. He wanted to go to Houston. I don't think Houston was interested. He didn't want to go to Cleveland because he wanted to play for a contender. So it was just a perfect storm, or I guess a shit storm of just fuckery on everybody's part to some degree. And I don't really blame Tony for that. I blame the organization for not putting him in the best position to get something done the way he can go and do what he gotta do. But you know what I'm saying? He got a wife, 3 kids, and I'm sure he consorted with her in order to do that. And I have a feeling she influenced that decision, especially after what happened last year. Not last year, the year before, where he drafted Dak when he was 2-0 and he got hurt against the Eagles. Went on the slide. I think he came back against Miami, won that game, and I think it was a Thanksgiving game against Carolina. And came and then was just turning it up, especially at defense. And Romo got popped in his back, man. He got popped right on the left side, right on the left side of his lower back. And he laid there, and they panned to Candace, his wife, and she had her hands over her face. I think she was either crying or she was trying to hold back tears, watching her husband lay down on the field from another back injury, and probably fearing like if he might not get up, he might be, crippled and shit. Surprised the dude actually was able to walk to the fucking podium and do a press conference today and shit. All them damn back injuries, man. I mean, it's hard. It's just ridiculous, man. Like, I mean, one thing I remember about this dude is his toughness. But you can only be tough for so long. You know what I'm saying? Ask Brett Favre. When he finally started to get hit, and he didn't get up, and he was getting up slower and slower, and he finally missed the game. You know what I'm saying? In his career. And then he missed two, and he missed three because he was out for a few weeks. That last year with Minnesota when he finally, missed the game and that consecutive game streak got broke. You can only be tough for so long, man. And ironically, Romo, you know, looked up to Brett Favre. He idolized him. And he actually played the same way as him. You know what I'm saying? You can only be tough for so long. So, I mean, in closing, that dude, that dude was a hell of a player, regardless of his, you know, regular season success, playoff failures, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I do think he Hall of Famer. He gonna have to wait a minute, a long minute, before he get in there, just off of guys having better resumes than him. Maybe not in terms of numbers, but maybe in terms of like championships. Um, and yeah, man, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, hopefully, you know what I'm saying. Hopefully, whatever he was saying to Dak last year, hopefully, whatever message or motivation he was giving him last year rubbed off on him, man. And he come back with more confidence this year to tear this fucking league up. But anyway, man, I'm out. Hey, subscribe, comment if you like my content.